Hey guys, we'll get started in just a couple minutes. AR, why don't you say a few words so we can see if they can hear you?
Happy New Year, everybody.
Dev, if you're still alive, a few words.
I was this years old when I finally realized why the baby New Year's name was Happy in Rudolph's Shiny New Year.
I've not actually seen that.
It's been a long time since I've seen the
I
Rudolph
haven't
special.
seen the New Year's one.
I've seen it at least like every other year.
Yeah, I think I've only seen Frosty and Rudolph. The first ones.
There's a lot of those that I
Ah.
have not seen in a long
Yeah,
time.
there's like
Like the one with what's the fucking town where they have to switch the two brothers? Heat Miser and
Uh,
Snow Asshole.
I
Yeah.
think it's what the fuck? The Year Without a Santa Claus.
I thought that was it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I haven't seen that one. Like I've heard of them
That's the
all.
one with Heat Miser and Snow Miser.
Yeah.
Okay, they are both mice, so I thought. Okay, they can
Yeah.
hear us. Are you guys ready to
Just one second.
go?
Get some chapstick on here.
Uh,
Helps with lip smack.
yes,
Okay.
yes, it does. Okay, I'm gonna get some water here.
If anyone hears any horrible noises, it is definitely my cat. What? No! Don't chew on that! No!
We'll
No!
start when Dev stops screaming.
Okay, she stopped chewing on the USB cord.
We should take a vote whether people want Dev to mute her mic when she goes off on her animals or not. Or just leave it in.
If you
Well,
hear a sudden scream of pain.
welcome to the Will Podcast. We're here to entertain, inform a bit while talking about Digimon. I'm Mark. I run with the Will and produce Digimon on Blu-ray.
I'm A.R. Palver, Year of the Rabbit indeed.
I am DevQ and I am literally hurting cats right now.
At least it's not a rabbit trying to bite you. That would be a bit too on the nose.
You say that, but...
Dev, it's been 13 minutes since we connected the call, and every 30 seconds you've been attacked by something. If it were a rabbit, it would be too funny.
No, the rabbit passed away of old age a long time ago, but she did bite a lot.
How it has been 2 weeks since the last show, a week since the new year. How has everybody been? Outside of tired.
I don't remember.
Retail still is hell.
Yeah, and I'm in the midst of working on shows and shows and shows. And being tired. And then, talking about shows, it's Ghost Game episode 58, Pyramid. Which feels... I'm trying to decide if this is like the most disappointing episode to me so far.
Is it 25,000 pyramid or $100,000 pyramid?
I don't remember what it was when I was growing up, so I can't go with the joke. Probably $100,000 when I was growing up, probably.
Yeah, probably. I think it was for me too.
They should have just
This
gone Legends of the Hidden Temple with this one.
See, I
This
was
one,
okay.
this one's not worth that much.
That was going to be. I was going to make a Legend of the Hidden Temple.
You can't besmirch
episode
Olmec
title.
by tying him to this episode.
Yeah, that's why I didn't. So I have a better episode title, which I'm pasting to you two right now.
No.
It's too late. Unless we come up with a better one, that's what it's going to be. So, this is a weird episode for me because it really feels like an episode that snatched defeat out of the jaws of victory. Like, so much was going for this episode that could have made it good even if the episode was mediocre. And instead, it was just so mediocre, it felt like, eh.
Remember a couple episodes ago with Seriousmon, and it was a very standard episode, but with just that little bit of extra gravy that made it seem kind of cool, even though absolutely nothing happened? This was the same thing without the gravy.
Yeah, this one's weird. Like, so we start off with, you get, work being painted at a museum, whatever, something grabs his shoes, and we get the main crux of the episode, which is the riddle of the Sphinx, which is generally a plot point that most of us should know to some degree from various fiction. Is a Sphinx asks you a question,
Yes.
and if you don't get the riddle correct, you're punished in some way, which normally is like transported to another dimension or, blah, 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 blah.
Eaten
Yes.
or...
Yeah.
And then it's a very basic plot, and it works well because it doesn't require much in the way of setup outside of, hey, this is a Sphinx, and then you have to deal with it.
Yep.
And then the guy's scared. He thinks it's a prank, which, again, great setup where he thinks that, he's working at a museum. There's an Egyptian exhibit. He thinks this is someone fucking with him. This is good. And he looks up and he sees ancient Sphinxmon, and he gets digitized into a block of stone, which looks very familiar as far as stone goes. Again, at this point, I'm actually really happy because there's actually some good framing shit going on just in the first 40, 50 seconds.
Yeah, it's like, this is acceptable.
Yes. And then we jump to Ruli playing piano and Angormon reading. It's like, these are indeed plot elements that have shown up in the last 58 episodes. I don't recall the last time Ruli played piano, but it's happened more than once, so it counts.
I'll get to that.
It's at least not what we've talked about a few times recently where they do something. It's like, that happened once 50 episodes ago, and it's never been mentioned since, and we're supposed to pretend it's recurring.
And we'll get to that not being recurring when we talk about Rudy later.
And then, we get the piano recital set up. Ruli and the others are checking clothes for it. It's noted Ruli is not in piano class but loves piano. She just doesn't like the recitals. Who does? And also, I don't really see the plot idea of somehow the elementary school student or junior high student was the one who decided, I don't like the recitals, so that's it. That's generally not how that works, but okay. And then Gormon's
that usually is something that we've introduced before, or will have some sort of resolution.
They have not at any point mentioned Ruli leaving piano class. It's just she played piano in a few episodes and was relatively good at it. That's not
I want to circle back to this later.
That's fine.
When we get to her. When we get to the climax, this is important for discussing.
And then we get
Angormon, actually.
And then Angormon sitting there reading, like, yes, piano is fun. Cough. And then
I like listening to piano.
Her friend Kyoru leaves practice. The teacher notes the shoes, which I don't like.
The shoes doesn't make sense.
The shoes.
So the shoes was.
I get why
they needed to concoct a reason for Rudy to be able to identify the shoes when they appear again.
But also, why is she wearing? I get it, but they don't even concoct a reason why she has them on.
She's just had an airhead moment and
fair enough. And then
whatever.
She does the riddle. I will say this: I did not attempt to transcribe a single riddle. I could not be bothered even when I was happy with the episode.
I guarantee everybody attempted to try to solve the riddles and probably got one or two, because that seems to be the consensus. And in the end, nobody cares.
And now she's a block.
It was completely irrelevant.
And then Ruli finds out a friend has gone missing. Everyone goes with her to look. For some reason, the entire gang's around, even though later in the episode they clarify at no point at this point do they think Digimon are involved. It's just everyone's there to help. Kyusho recommends they go her route home. Ruli's oddly annoyed that he's helping.
Well, if Rudi's getting the gang together to find Kaoru, why are they getting this gang together and not her friends?
No, that's what I mean. But also,
he doesn't think it's Digimon related.
But also, for all his problems, Kyoshiro's actually trying to help, and she's getting actively upset that he's suggesting obvious stuff which she has not said. My
only guess is that she's kind of pissy because, her friend
absolutely.
Missing,
but
he's being a weeb about it.
But no, that's the thing. He's really not being a weeb, even though, as everyone says, he is giving anime references, but
he's being a weeb in a productive way.
Yes. Yeah, but she's 12, so
now the weeb thing is after suggestion when everyone realizes he's taking notes, and Jellymon's no, he's imitating an anime, and then he trips on an indentation.
If it's going to be a weeb, at least he's being a helpful weeb.
And here's where the shoe's important. Gabumon finds a shoe, and Ruli can go, her shoe. Yeah. And then Espimon pops up going, I found a shoe! And everyone kind of ignores it because
they did more work to establish why Rudy recognized the shoes than they did to establish why Rudy doesn't care about piano recitals.
Yes. Yeah. And then Hiro's people vanishing. I've heard of this online and did not look into it any further.
Yeah, right?
That's the weird thing. They're constantly looking for weird shit that happens, to the point that almost every time this happens, they know something is going on.
Mm-hmm.
But
I wish they would
also,
establish how much weird
It
bullshit
doesn't matter
happens.
until it
ends up
doesn't
No.
matter
being
until
just a
somebody
lie.
that's
inside
what I mean. Like, this has apparently happened hundreds of times already. Like, and
Yeah.
and then
It doesn't matter until it impacts their friend circle.
And God bless, Jellymon is mostly bothered by how many shoes they find, as is really elsewhere. And to be fair, there's a good reason why. But at this point, they have not established like that the leaving shoes behind are a thing. And then another guy gets turned into one, and then Hero's grabbed also. And then God bless Gamamon. This is a Digimon, and everyone and Hero's shocked, and now he's a block. Kyosho recognizes the scream, Gamon's knocked away, and then that's it for Kiyoshiro for this episode, basically.
Yep, rest in peace.
And then Ruli's annoyed, people aren't answering their phones, which is odd because Ruli's done this enough times that she should know if they're not answering the phone, something's gone wrong. And
They
then
should have GPS indicators on all of them
and
by
then
now.
and then the dumbest part of the episode, Jellymon and Gamamon show up, explain their turn to stone, it was a Digimon, and then Goramon's legitimately shocked at the idea of this.
And for
What
once,
episode
he
is
didn't say,
this?
"Oh, it's such and such, Mom."
No, but
I
that's
know
the thing.
about this.
Like I could understand like Ruli being surprised. Not really, but I can like pretend I would
Yeah.
be. But Angoramon being shocked that a Digimon's causing problems in the real world at this point. His entire shtick is kind of knowing stuff. And then we see
Didn't.
the blocks being made into a pyramid. Kiyoshiro still yelling for help even though he's a block. Mummymon recognizes the story. Did they ever establish why they went to Mummymon? I have no issue with them doing that, but did they explain why? Like, why
I
Mummymon and
just,
not
like-
Clockmon?
He was there.
Okay,
Yeah,
fair enough. I kept feeling like I missed some explanation for why they went to Mummymon because it
Hey,
feels
Mummy
like
Mon, you know how to cure turn into a block hiatus?
and then he knows who does it, and then Goramon's like, that Digimon can't exist, wink wink, nudge nudge. And then
Jeez.
I don't know why, I really like the ancient Sphinxmon appears in the movie theater demanding answers to a riddle. Everyone gets turned to stones. The only issue I had with the scene was no one's bothered by the lion who walks out of the screen.
They thought it
Well,
was
it's
3D or
Yeah,
something?
yeah.
Trailer.
Yeah, I had the same joke in my
That's-
head
it's
when
the-
I wrote my notes.
That's probably the joke they were intending.
But they never did the joke is the issue with it, is to me.
They only
they-
commented that, like,
Yeah.
this trailer's weird.
yeah,
I
they
guess.
did
Yeah,
sort of
I
make
guess they didn't do it. Okay, I rescind my complaint. They did do it. They just didn't do it well.
right.
Exactly.
The Ghost Game Nado.
And then Mummymon notes ruled over death and destruction in ancient times. Lives are nothing but pebbles to it. It's still building the pyramid. It enjoys that as the pyramid gets closer, it's turning to gold. Mummymon and Airdramon, because Airdramon's here now.
Mm-hmm.
They both notice something happening, and the pyramid's just there now and floating.
Like, why the fuck is this here?
And then
Specifically.
Gotten to a certain percentage of completion. I think
Yes.
they did the same thing with like the castle with the Witchmon episode.
well, no, that though, like she was artificially powered up. She had a bunch of witches standing right there. Here, they haven't actually like framed what's happening yet. They do, but they don't frame like that. And then Angormon's bothered by voices coming from the bricks. Jellymon and Gamamon recognize the clothes, which I don't know like how I feel about like you can vaguely see bits of clothes from the bricks just so they can do
It's-
that.
It's impressive that both Hiro and Kiyoshiro ended up being end pieces, even though they were not shaped as such.
Yes. And then as people are going to start taking photos, really activates a field. Mummymon's in awe as it really is ancient Sphinxmon. The pyramid's nearly done. We get cracks in the sky. What's the name of the great one who will manifest from the cracks? Pharaohmon, the ruler of the ancient digital world, who I'm pretty sure Shoutmon beat up a few years ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was trying to like we've seen him before. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It was Cross Wars.
Yeah. And then Mummymon isn't happy at this idea at all, which there's a plot issue I have with that later. Ancient Sphinxmon's like, Ruli will be the capstone. I don't know why she has to be the capstone. He could grab anyone.
That's one
I
of
think
those.
just 'cause she's literally just the last one
Yeah,
available.
it's one of those where they just
Fair
decide.
enough.
Same thing as with Kazuma-mon deciding Hero was
Yeah,
going to be the
fair enough.
last one.
And
It's
then
just the one who's given them the most problems,
no,
or
that's
going to
fair.
be the most problems, is going to be
Yes.
the
And then
final.
we get Warp Evolution, and then Gamamon and Jellymon also attack for some reason. And I would say
great.
they do about as much as you'd expect, but Lamortmon doesn't really do much either, to be honest.
They Leroy Jenkins it.
And then Lamortmon just kind of refuses to answer the questions. Mummymon also attacks, which bless Mummymon for trying. Like, I appreciated that.
Yeah.
And then Lamortmon gets in.
It's like I am a healer, but.
And then the hero of all, Espimon, decides to take him on one by one, throwing his mighty Mott bombs and then instantly getting blown away, which I think is becoming like a Team Rocket joke at this point. They just don't point it out when it happens. It's happening.
The enjoyment that I get out of the.
Although, they need Espimon to show up.
Yeah. And then Ancient Sphinxmon asks another ruler, and then Lamortmon gets blown away again. Ancient Sphinxmon attacks again. Ruli and Airdramon rush in. They get knocked. Ruli falls. Lamortmon jumps and grabs her. He gets fucked up. The pyramid.
This is way less riveting than it sounds.
To be fair, here's the thing. I can make it sound riveting. It's I would say it probably is more exciting the way I'm framing it than it is.
It is.
And then there's only one stone left at the top, which is not news to us because they told us this a minute or two ago. A sarcophagus. And then we're told again about one stone. And then Ruli's feet gets grabbed and the riddle's asked. And then Angormon asks about if it has a piano and talks about novels, desserts, all this stuff. Ruli does the same thing. The VV activates. And then Angormon wants to learn more. And Ruli's... Go ahead.
This was the big twist I really didn't like.
Here's the issue.
Ancient Sphinxmon is going on with these riddles, and then all of a sudden... like, they do this 180, and all of a sudden it's about him and Pharaohmon not just demeaning mankind and just not having a civilization worthy of them. And that's sudden, and that's what gets Angoramon and Ruri in on their tangents and is their key to their evolutions and all that stuff. But it's like none of that is set up by
the episode.
It's like Ancient Sphinxmon is railing against mankind contributing to having a civilization, and it's going around with these stupid riddles, really?
Yeah, and then...
that's what you got for civilization. That's what you got for culture.
And then as the VV starts to activate, Angormon's like, I want to learn more. And Ruli's like, I haven't found a hobby yet. And I was just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, where did this come from?
Can we go into our character breakdown?
Here's the thing, and I know what AR's gonna say. If they had done the work in prior episodes, this would make sense based on what we've been told of her, but that does not necessarily come through in the shows. She's supposed to be very bored with Ennui. She's supposed to not know where her place is. Mm-hmm. But the show does not really do that. So this is where
something we were told about Rudy.
This is where
constantly, but we never get to see it in any episodes. And meanwhile, we do see with the sides that we do see of her being like the honorary gogglehead, because Hero and Kira ain't gonna do it.
But exactly.
That's the side of Rudy that we've gotten to know and really establish with her. These sides are completely compatible with each other, and I'm like just lamenting this missed opportunity.
No, and that's why
to have both of these sides of her together, like working together, that works so well. Like, that would have been a really interesting character. And just for her to, that's why her going into all that, I'm like, that's not a side of her we've seen much at all.
It is worthless because it is only something that existed in text descriptions. The show never showed it to us. If the show had gone 3 out of 10 effort, this would have made sense. Instead, they don't even like try to connect us to Ruli. She's like, I need a perfect hobby. No, tell us you're like trying to find your place in life or something.
Show her trying out different things.
And then the evolution itself sucks. It's like a bland copy of the Seriousmon one. Like, I know it has some unique touches, but like, there's a reason why, like, in Adventure we only get 2 ultimates. In O2 we only get 1. In Tamers we get a number of them, but we also don't get them for everyone. In Frontier we don't get final levels for everyone. even in Savers, there's multiple characters we know that either don't get them or get them in a small way. Here, they're just copying it for everyone. If you were going to do like the heroes writing Ken Weiss one for the evolution, don't do it for the other two, because then it's just something the show does and it's not fun. It's like
Just disappointment all around.
It is a weird, bland copy of Seriousmon's one where you could have done something interesting. If it was almost exactly the same but without Ruli in it, I would have liked it more, I think.
Kyosho and Jellymon better have a great one, though. They better do something
Look,
stupid.
Look, I'm being 100% clear, and I'm only half joking. She better do the fucking monkey. If she does the monkey,
I'm hoping.
If she does
so
the monkey,
much.
I declare the evolution sequence a success, because that's all everyone I know who has seen that design, whether they watch Digimon or not, go, oh, it's based on King Gainer. Does she do the monkey? Because that's the entire point of doing that joke. It's sort of like you have Jellymon and she does electricity stuff. She talks about Darling a lot. The entire joke is she's love, and they lean into it, and it's fun. If they don't do that with the ultimate form, I will actually be upset. And
okay, talk about Digimon, because I'm going to lavish faint praise on something.
See, here's the thing.
Briefly.
I will say his design looks better in animation than what we've seen in the sprite and artwork.
That's understating it.
No, the design's very. The design is. Go ahead.
For everything we've talked about in this episode, the main discourse I've seen online with this episode is how uncomfortably hot D'Arbitmon is. That's the main takeaway from this episode. Despite everything we've talked about.
I don't care about that discourse because it's always bland. It's always fucking the same. I don't care.
No, this is the consistent. I've never had this much. This character, this Digimon is uncomfortably hot for new evolutions before.
Okay, but here's the thing. For new evolutions, but here's the thing. For the time that most of this shit has been social media, this is functionally the first new one. This happened when we saw War Greymon's ass in 2020, and that's not a new one. That just happened to be what was on at the time. The discourse is exactly what I expected it to be. And then the design...
Like, don't people remember Pharaohmon?
And then he slashes at Ancient Sphinxmon. The weird thing is, like, they really talk about how great Ancient Sphinxmon is. It's like, okay, this dude who just showed up is, like, stopping him.
Yeah. Anyway, I will say that one thing I have noticed is that the evolutions is that as bad as this Rudy side of things was, Angoramon's was okay. And I have noticed that with both Gamamon and Angoramon, the evolution does seem to be from the Digimon's perspective. So I would analyze things a little bit more from Digimon's character development.
I think they frame it from both perspectives. It's just we care so little about what they've done with the kids that we're ignoring it.
They do, but the Digimon seems to be triggering it more than the kid this time, which I'm acknowledging that as a pattern.
I'm not sure. I'm
a little okay with.
I think it's more that we're just dismissing the kids' place in it because they do so little. I think the show means it to be equal. We're just ignoring it.
Yeah, maybe a little bit, but it's like both times, like the kid
didn't do that great job.
Both times the kid was under the duress, and the Digimon comes up with a big monologue. And here, and what Angoramon says about defending his experiences with and desire to see more of human culture, that does track with Angoramon's
No, it
character.
does. I wish we had seen more of it, though, and for it to have more functionally mattered at some point.
I think we've seen enough of Angoramon's puffery to not need more of that. I think we're okay.
Stop. I will agree with you that we've seen enough that it probably is fine. I will not agree that the puffery somehow lines up with it.
I mean, not necessarily the end of the episode puffery. I mean, all the stuff about him talking about his novels and
okay,
all that stuff.
I misunderstood you.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking. I thought you were talking about the end of episode nonsense, and I was like, no.
Okay, it's like his general demeanor.
Yeah, the in between's like, oh, I just read this great samurai novel, all that crap. Yeah. That stuff does lead me to accept what he is saying about this in defense of this sudden diatribe about mankind's civilization and all that. That fits, and given the framing I'm seeing with the evolutions regarding Angoramon and Gamamon kind of triggering it, that worked okay for me, despite Ruri's being complete garbage.
Okay, fair enough. And then D'Arbitmon demands it stops, doesn't need his permission. knocks him into the portal, and it grabs him.
So much for that.
And then
It's like, oh, I didn't mean to do that. Shit.
and then Digimon
okay.
does the. I have no issue with the show doing it, but it is like the most stereotypical move. The kind of reaches your arm out to try to save them, but can't because it's too late.
That's another thing about
noble knight character
Yeah.
person.
I don't have any issue with that, mind you. It's just a very stereotypical move to do. I don't have an issue with them doing it though.
The issue I have with it is does create this really interesting and really I'm really fascinated by this distinction between this Diarbitmon, who's this noble knight guy, and Lamortmon, who's this ferocious, uncontrollable monster, and they're never going to talk about that.
Yeah.
But I want them to.
Well, the character profile actually does. I don't trust the show to deal with that, though.
Yeah, we've seen how far character profiles go.
I know. Are you saying you don't trust the lore, AR?
About as much as I trust them to establish Rudy as being a
interesting
listless
character. And then here's where I have
I think Rudy is an interesting character.
So,
I just wish the side of her was part of it.
So Ancient Sphinxmon is gone. Everything starts to go back to normal, and that's where I have to stop to point out the episode actually fucked up in such a major way it's impossible for it to be a good episode. The episode ignored.
It's a bit late for that. But...
Yo, definitely. The entire episode is the fucking riddle of the Sphinx, and at no point do they actually do an answer thing. At one point, they suggest one of them answers it correctly, and the Sphinx mocks them for doing it, and that's it.
I was actually okay with that. I thought that was hilarious.
No, but here's the thing. Answer something correctly, and then have him sucked in the hole, so you have a reason to try to save him, rather than him just trying to kill everyone.
I was
also hoping someone would answer a riddle correctly and then get turned into a block anyway.
That would be great too.
Yeah, and have it just be bullshit. Do something, because the entire episode's riddled the Sphinx, and they don't do anything with it. And now the Sphinx is gone, and he's hanging out with Piedmon.
The moment they introduced the riddle, I thought it was impossible for them to have a successful payoff on that, because either it's going to be either it's not going to go anywhere, or they're going to do the obvious thing if someone answers the riddle correctly.
Here's the riddle that almost is always used for the situation. What grows up on 4 legs and then changes to 2 legs and then ends up on 3 legs?
That's
the
traditional Sphinx riddle.
Yes.
That's the historically, mythologically.
And that's the riddle. And the answer is man. When it's a baby, it's on 4 legs. Then it's 2 legs.
The answer is one of those Pokemons. I can't keep track of them anymore.
And then
have you seen that meme? I love that.
And then Ancient Sphinxmon goes, "Okay, that's fine. There's 1,000 Pokemon. You can't be expected to know them all. I'm sorry. Goodbye."
And then done that. I would have.
Everything's restored. Kyosho's happy. Hiro oddly's like, "I wonder if it's Ruli who saved us." Because they have to say something about it without them standing there, and then everyone celebrates. We get the light, people restoring. SBmon's like, I want to evolve.
It was Rio.
I want to be useful. Motbomb didn't do shit. And Gormon's like, we should make sure everyone's okay. And then this is where the episode fucks up again. Mummymon is impressed, and as the sarcophagus vanishes, he's like, my king, there's hope for this civilization. They never established that he fucking knows him. The way they treated it, it was like some psychotic asshole he knew. Not like it was someone that he actually had respect for.
It's just like, oh shit, this fucking species of Digimon is a huge dick. He's gonna murder us all.
At least hint to us that, okay, maybe the dude went evil, but at one point Mummymon respected him and he went too far or something.
Mummymon didn't exactly start off on the best foot,
that's what I mean. You can say that there was a misunderstanding or something. Instead, at the end, Mummymon just acting like that's his king. And there's hope for these people. That's never been anything Mummymon's dealt with here. That's not what happened. He was confused. And then we get the piano recital and Agoramon's Puffy. The end.
Agoramon's Puffy. The end. Not even a resolution on whether she decided to pick up recital again or
they
talked about it at all. She went to see Kaoru's recital and it went fine.
Is that what you wanted to talk about with the piano thing? that they don't resolve.
No, it was the whole
Oh,
idea of
okay, the hobbies.
finally circling back to her, or just addressing her being listless for the first time, seemingly,
Yeah.
and that being the whole point of the episode.
It brings me back to my favorite example, Buttery from Power Rangers SPD. I will forever use that as an example of the show jumps ahead of the plot, because that just drove me insane.
I mean, to be fair, Ghost Game jumping ahead of the plot isn't very hard given the
No,
plot.
it really isn't, but still, I would like to believe that at some point things would go right, and they just don't. Because, okay, so...
That would be nice to
Ghost
have
Game.
Man, having consequences of an episode, that'd
and then,
be great.
Here, study files this time is Ancient Sphinxmon.
And Diarbonmon feels like garbage.
Here's where I'm like weirdly torn about this episode. It's not good. The problem was focus. They just didn't fucking deal with it. We actually had like a focus problem to deal with, and instead it was just yeet into a hole.
Yeah.
They didn't actually solve like the quote unquote ghost mystery thing. They just threw him into a hole, and one day we will see him again with Paimon, Daemon,
Dagomon,
the mysterious man. Like, at least those, like, their exits made sense from an ongoing plot thing. Here, it was a one episode thing, and they didn't finish off the actual plot. They just
They could have beat him to death with the pyramid.
Yeah. No. Okay. How about this? How about this? Siriusmon has to evolve to help Dear Bitmon, and he picks up the pyramid and just drops it on him, and then everyone turns back to normal.
Actually, in the chat, Math Magician came up with the great. It's like the Sphinx one starts out with the riddle, walks on four legs. Diarbonmon cuts one of his off and says, "Not you."
You know what? The sad thing is us and chat have all made this episode sound far more exciting and fun than it is.
That's a sad testament to this episode, because it was like just teed up to be something really good, and it had all the elements and just didn't execute.
And then we only have one guest this episode, Hiroyuki Kinoshita. His first Digimon role is Ancient Sphinxmon. Lots of well-known roles, Ikkyo and Aijin, Mugen-san, Bakumatsu. He was in Jinro, Megalo Blocks, Tiger and Bunny 2, lots of stuff. Some good dubbed over roles, though. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
He often does the dub over for Aaron Eckhart, including his Two-Face in The Dark Knight. He often does the dub over for Colin Firth. He was also Ultron in Age of Ultron. And are you ready for the best two?
Mm-hmm.
Please.
When Netflix licensed Crocodile Dundee, they did not have access to the old dub. He is Crocodile Dundee in a recent redub of it.
Oh my god, it's amazing.
And, are you ready for the best one? In the TV show House, he dubs over House. Which for some reason, like, I keep trying in my head to imagine that one, and that one's hard.
Well, after the Crocodile D one, I'm now trying to hear House with an Australian accent. Speaking Japanese.
See, that's the thing. I'm trying to think of what kind of accent would he do. That's almost like where you would almost expect, like, Kanzai Ben or something.
Good day, I'm Digi-Destiny Doctor.
Can you make, like, a cane noise while you say that? Like a clinking cane noise?
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. And then next time we get Jiraiya, episode 59, with Kiyashiro standing there staring at me for some reason. Yeah. And then...
So next episode on Naruto.
And then we have guide data. So
Disco Ninja Frog.
So I will say this. Reading... I won't comment on the plot description too much.
Yeah, don't read too much into these.
Yeah, I know. It is very much. It is very much. It is the Kiyashiro.
It is the
Kiyashiro episode we've been waiting for.
Yeah, well, that and there's a couple episodes here. It's like, man, this sounds like a great episode to resolve some issues that
It's
should be
not
going
going
on with some
to.
side characters, but it's not
Yeah.
going
And
to.
then episode 60. God bless them, they're doing it again. Water Ghost. Another water episode.
Water episode.
And then
No.
It's the water trilogy.
and then episode 61 Revival. We can't mock much there, minus that I will say the episode has to do with Ruli dealing with a friend, which was this episode. They just did this. But if they do something good with it, we won't care. But they won't do something good with it is the
I will
problem.
leave everyone who is not reading the descriptions to fantasize for themselves what it's about, but I just want this to turn into Weekend at Bernie's.
Oh, yeah. And then episode
Honestly,
62.
it's coming more like Ghostbusters.
And then
No. That's
then-
too easy.
and then episode 62.
The traveler has come.
Episode 62, The Phantom Floor, which is another Ruli friend episode.
Yep, this is the one I was thinking of.
Now, here's the thing. I'm not going to say the full plot, but there's two details we need to make you aware of. The first is, I love the idea that people are just calling it Fear Condo.
Your condo.
And two, they won't use episode 13 because a lot of people don't know that buildings often remove that floor.
That is a thing.
They just go 12 to 14. Because a lot of people don't do that, they're having it be floor 13.5.
5.
Yeah.
Because that's so much better.
Because you actually can't trust that people know that a lot of buildings go from 12 to 14 because people freak out about there being a floor 13. So I love the way around it is just go.
Varies a lot country to country.
It's floor 13.
It's almost like you could have just had. It's like this is actually they could have just called it 14th floor and explained in the episode that they don't have a 13th. But
yeah.
Or it could be like this building only has like 10 floors.
No, exactly.
Floor...
Yes, that's the way you do it. You do it where it's a 10-story building, and somehow they're on the 11th floor in a 10-story building.
Get some Twilight Zone shit in here.
Yeah.
It was the 13th day of the 13th month.
There's a song with that, and now I can't. It's gonna be hurting my brain that I can't remember it. It's I can't. Remember.
I don't know what you're thinking of. I'm making a Simpsons reference.
I know you are, but there's a song with that like has that in lyrics or something like it.
It's probably the Decemberists or something.
I think it's the one where they talk about the year of Aquarius. I think.
It was the age of Aquarius.
Yeah, I think it might be that song. I don't know. I only remember that one lyric from it.
Oh, that's because it was just part of like random. You watched Cartoon Network and it had a commercial for like a disc set from the 70s.
Yeah.
And then we have a new ED.
I've already forgotten what it's called.
I've already forgotten it.
And it's called Take Me Maybe by Penthouse.
Take Me Maybe. That's a interesting title.
And I feel so my favorite thing is, have you seen the photo of the band?
Maybe.
That's a fucking band photo. Holy shit. I need to wait for AR to see this band photo.
I'm hoping I got the right. It's taking a moment to. This is when it always decides not to load with the load.
I preload every single thread just in case.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay, yes. I see.
Okay, just in case that isn't loading for you. Okay, yes.
God, that is
a band photo. You got the one guy sitting on the fridge. The guy sitting like, what is that? A donut like or something? There's a guy with beer and pizza. She has champagne. For some reason, the one guy has a tiny box of popcorn, like really tiny. And the other guy's sitting in the sink.
Wine glass.
Am I wrong? Is the dude with the wine glass sitting in the sink?
He is sitting in the sink.
He is sitting in the sink.
Yeah.
There's a faucet right there.
Yeah.
And then, are you ready for the weirdest, stupidest part? Let's ignore like what's in the fridge. Remember how I pointed out the dude sitting there with the popcorn box? Mm-hmm. The dude on the fridge has an entirely different popcorn cup.
Yeah.
And
one got a small and one got a medium.
And also, on top of the thing, there's an empty container of potato salad. It's a very strange room, and it's also like supposed to be like 406. And I just noticed the ground is like all dirty. Actually, the ground and the windows actually look really disgusting now that I look at it.
It's probably the break room of the recording studio.
Yes. They made it specifically for the show. It's the first anime song for them. The single will be out in a few days, and none of us remember it. But I will say this: it's kind of a boring song. I guess I need to listen to the full thing. I think Tenya Buno did some of the best art yet for it. To be fair,
Yeah.
it makes Espimon look like an interesting character.
That's hard to do.
Yeah.
And Jellymon's a pirate.
Now, here's where I have a serious issue with this. I have an issue with the thing that everyone loves about the ED. And here's what it is. If you look at it, it actually shows story follow through that the show does not give us. It shows us like follow up to one-off characters and stuff.
Like, yeah, I noticed the Bostamon's in there for
No,
some reason.
and behind Bostomon is Petermon in the ship.
Oh, good God, that's right.
There's
I
tons.
didn't even see that.
There's
Oh,
tons of stuff in this that are follow up to the episodes all throughout this, and it's maddening because it's not positive to have that be a single frame in the ending. That should be shit in the show. It's insanely maddening that like we're getting like weird character shit that does not exist in the show.
bunch of these previous antagonists have all like formed this community together that would be
Yes.
way more interesting to visit than anything we've seen.
Yes, and it shows like the characters interacting with them and going on adventures and shit. Gamamon has a little backpack, and like there's like a Espimon has a pouch. It's like they're going to do something.
And Ginryumon's there.
The show doesn't do any of this. Ginryumon doesn't often show up in the show.
He's just him being there is
Yes.
progress.
Like surprise!
Yeah,
Oh wait, they remembered he existed.
Even someone in the chat points out the ending has more plot than the show. Someone in the chat pointed out that's what the issue I have with it. It's maddening. And then end of the year 2020 art. I really love the art, and I really thought it was odd how many people did not understand why Frontier characters were in this.
Which one?
The Thank You 2022 art.
Oh, okay, I was thinking of the
It was
the bunny.
The whole thing was the
Oh.
20th celebration of Frontier. Having
Yeah.
them there makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
No. In fact, I would say the least interesting visual here is Seriousmon, who's just kind of like T-posing.
Yeah, really.
Seriousmon's like, they told me to stand here because I'm in the show. And the others are like,
Yep.
okay, we just need to like float slightly above you so we're in the picture.
That said, those three together makes me think, oh, it's just another War Greymon version.
You know who should have been here?
Version and Omegamon version.
You know who should have been here?
Omegamon?
No, there's actually a Digimon that should be in this image, and it's the app Shinmonzemon.
Yep.
Shinmonzemon is the closest thing there is to a 25th anniversary Digimon, because they had so much shit happening they didn't do a standalone one, and it makes perfect sense not to. But like, you should have him there, or have one of the cows saying goodbye, because it was the year of the cow, wasn't it?
Did they do the? I don't think they've. I don't remember seeing the animal saying goodbye, only saying hello.
Oh, I know, but I'm saying like
it would have been cute.
Also,
yes.
It would have been cute, but also like the cow Digimon aren't that impressive.
Yes, but do what they did last time. Have Gilmon there in a cow outfit.
I loved that.
Yeah.
That's how desperate they were to fill out the cows.
Just have Takuya there in a cow outfit.
Oh God!
And then
you notice they have no such problem with the rabbits.
Yes, yeah. Oh, the rabbit they do. They have Angoramon flying, and then they have a banner with some of the best-known rabbit Digimon.
That's how amazing it is. It's some of
although
the best known.
Although there is a flaw. More than half of the one in the photos are in fact just one evolution line.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we got that. They pulled out the Gamamon plush celebrating the new year. Oddly, at first I thought this was the same photo as last year, but I checked. It is in fact a different photo. It's just very similar.
Oh, I also assumed it was the one.
Yeah, I checked. It actually is posed differently. I was legitimately shocked by that, but they did in fact take a different picture. Then the card game. Weirdly, this time they went with the theme. Because last year it was just Bushi Agumon, I think. Which I don't think you can make that fit cow.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Then Digimon Partners. Digimon Partners, I actually really like what they did, where they do like an actual holiday card. It has the New Year's mochi orange thing. I always forget what that's called. Yes. And then Digimon Partners also went, hey, look, it's Vmon.
Yep. Yes, he is.
Yes. And then
I still want the suits to fight each other.
the best one, Volcano Oda did art.
I love that one.
I know.
Nice.
Volcano Oda always doing. It is very neat when he pops up years after he left Bandai. At this point, he's been gone from Bandai 10-ish years, and he still pops up enough that even new fans know who he is. And then I did my normal New Year's
There's no
post.
getting rid of him. He just lives in the closet.
It was actually hard to keep track of everything we have coming up or know about, to the point that I'm sure I missed some, but like even making the list, some big ones I almost missed. Like I almost missed putting the Digimon color on it. So much shit happened, I forgot like, oh, they're doing a VPET because they did 20 other VPETs. And like the OST for Ghost Game's coming out. We get Digimon. There's so much weird. If
There's a lot.
yeah, I'm looking at next order going, I'm not sure that's a positive, but hey, it's not bad.
It's
there.
They're bringing it back from the dead for whatever that's worth.
It exists. And then, but yeah, and then a few
They're
days into
milking
the
that
year,
for a little bit more money.
a few days into the year, 18th anniversary of X Evolution with a poster that looks much nicer than the actual movie does. The rendering in the film is not this nice. Yeah. It still pops up more than you'd expect. We got a model kit just a few months ago. Technically.
We're getting a life-size Dorumon.
Yes.
I want it so badly.
Wait, were they actually branding that X Evolution or not? I don't recall.
I mean, what else are you branding Dorumon?
Rear Eyes.
No. That seems doubtful.
That's cruel.
Okay. And
that would almost be like branding Ulfors from
And
Sabers.
then we had a few more New Year's messages. The first one, this one got people excited. I wasn't at all because this was the most generic thing. Did you look at the For Gamer every year? They ask a bunch of game producers and other stuff questions. So most of the questions had nothing to do with Digimon. Habu had some weird answers. Like the first one was he talked about, I think it was Devil Summoner 2 or 3. How excited he was for it. It reignited his passion for X, Y, and Z. And then he mentioned he actually hadn't played it yet. And they're like, and what would you like to say to, the question that's for like your audience? We are preparing various titles that will please Digimon fans. We hope you're looking forward to them.
Thanks.
Of course,
that is more succinct than he's commented Digimon Con.
And God bless the sweetened translation that some people put up. We're preparing many titles that will please all Digimon fans. It's like, that's not how that works. That may technically be an accurate translation. Habu's not stupid enough to say that. I'm giving him more credit than that. He's not going to sit there and go, we're preparing many titles. Everyone's going to fucking love them. This is the guy, if you remember, they did a documentary about him regarding Survive in English. And in Survive, it was like, many people won't like it. Yep.
That's true.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be hyping this shit.
Yeah. And then the more interesting one, and which got clarified just a couple of days ago, Masashi Harada, who's functionally the modern Volcano Oda, the guy who's functionally in charge of the brand for Bandai, had made a pair of tweets basically kind of cryptic like, hey, there's going to be an exhibition in LA. There'll be some actual news in the new year, but I'm giving it to you a bit early. And then we got that a few days ago. We got a logo for the Digimon fan meetup, which will be February 24th to 26th at the LA Convention Center during the Card Game Championship. I will say I love that logo.
It is a nice logo. That's just the fact that they did an actual logo for it is cool.
The event will be.
Are you going?
The event will have some of the art from the. I'll answer that shortly. It will have art from the Digimon Museum exhibition from last year. I assume that's where they'll have like the framed pieces.
Yeah.
Plus giveaways, promotional items while supplies last. I assume I will not be going.
Aw.
My assumption. I'm probably going to be very busy then, but we will see. I can't imagine I'm going to rush to LA Convention Center COVID Central every few months for that. Especially since, as far as I can tell, it's like to the side of all the card game stuff they're gonna do for a few different card games. And I don't know how knowledgeable are you guys about LA?
See, that's what I was going to say. It's
Yes.
like
Like
because
a cesspool.
all of us outside California are probably like, well, it's in the LA Convention Center, so it's
Okay.
probably just like across the street from you.
Okay, let me actually clarify this. LA Convention Center, because this will be okay to the LA Convention Center. There is traffic right now from where I am. It's under an hour to get there with traffic. When I went there for Anime Expo,
That's not as bad as I
no,
thought.
but I should
Actually,
clarify. When I went there I actually got a hotel because it is so dangerous to deal with LA streets. There were people I know who came in for Anime Expo a couple years ago, and they're like, "I'm gonna rent one of those scooters." And I'm like, "Don't fucking
No,
do
you're
that.
gonna die.
No, you will actually fucking die if you do that." And then later they mentioned to someone else, and the response from someone else who's from Southern California also was just to nod their head vigorously left and right. Yeah, it's like, here's the thing. It's a small meetup thing. It's the time to get there is actually not long as there's not traffic. But you also have to remember it's 8 p.m. and there's flood warnings right now. No one is out. There's actually flood warnings where I am, and it still takes an hour to get there. Even if I were to get there, that's not realistically happening.
So I'm just gonna assume LA is basically West Coast Boston as far as traffic goes.
Right concept, possibly worse. I will be very happy to post any photos or thoughts people have. I just don't expect that I'm going to go when I can probably use the time. See, here's the thing. I can meet people at Anime Expo if I'm going to go. It's just one of those things where for this specifically, I just don't know if I... Yeah.
Make someone else go and give you
Yeah.
photos.
Basically, yes. That's probably the plan. I like the chat. I'm a realist. Or they may have been referring to Habu, but that's possible. And then the Blu-rays out. People are generally happy, which makes me happy. I'm just very happy it is out and it is done.
I still need to acquire the thing when I have time to watch it.
I'm very happy that people are enjoying the captions and what extras we were able to put on it. A lot of people.
I mean, you got DigiBloop that.
Oh yeah, a lot of people are like, "Holy shit!"
I
haven't. A lot of people are like, "Holy shit!" I haven't seen these in 23 years.
I mean, that's the crown of it. So.
Yeah, and I will say the interesting thing is a number of people have actually pointed out, and I thought this, but I wasn't sure. Some of that line art we never had in full color.
Oh really?
A lot of it we did, but some of it we did not. And in many cases, these are nicer than the copies we had. So that's a victory. And then the big one, which had been a secret, it was meant for the disc for various reasons, not there. The liner notes and introduction essay. Surprise! It's 240 pages.
I still haven't finished going through all of it.
Yeah, I need to look at that.
This is where, like, when we've talked in the past about having good media literacy helps, the header titles just being full of references that I'm very happy with those. I'm very happy with the notes in general. A good chunk of the writing was Chris McFeely. And it's been fun to see people go, "Holy shit, I haven't read his stuff in 20 years and this sounds exactly like him." Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. Seeing people skim and find stuff they didn't know has been nice also. Especially stuff like the episode titles that were not necessarily correct when they first aired. And in a few cases, being able to track down actual screenshots of it. Because a lot of times you won't find first day airing of stuff. You might find this aired a month later. It's like, yeah. So yeah, I'm very happy with how that stuff came out. Made sure
Not all of us were sitting there with a VCR ready to hit record.
Yeah. I like that we were able to make sure the V pets were mentioned properly, and it puts everything in really good context, I think. Although 240 pages may have been a bit much.
Never.
I remember
But
I liked when I sent it to Dev with saying it was 240 pages, and her reaction was like, "What the fuck's wrong with you?" or something. I don't remember what it was she said. It was something like that. But yeah,
it may have been like awe.
something like that. But yeah, I'm very happy with how it came out. Download the notes and read them, anyone, if you haven't, because I really am happy with how these came out. Really am. Like, a lot of people don't know that Epcar was not the original actor from Iotismon. His original appearance actually had someone else, but it was only like 2 lines, and he just wasn't there the next time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he did have that weird shadowy cameo that one episode.
And what's weird is it kind of sounds like Epcar, but it's not. And in fact, I'll let people discover who it is themselves. Epcar's played the same character as this person somewhere else. So it
That's
gets
hilarious.
so it gets very funny.
Maybe Epcar assassinated him and then took over all of his roles.
No, one of the major roles they quote unquote share, the other actor didn't play until like 3 or 4 years ago. So it gets weird and stuff. And then cards. We're not going to go over all these because there's just too fucking much. We'll go over the new ones. So
abridged version is card's pretty.
So we get Numamon. We get Monzemon. I like Monzemon, how you can see the Tokomon like, then Shin Monzemon. I love that. That is a great looking card, honestly.
So many are so good.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
That is.
Let's see. Those are all reprints. Those are all reprints. Although I like that Black War Greymon card's back. And then the duo that excited people the most. First, Tamer card Hawktail.
That got people's attention.
Yes. And then Blacktailmon Uver. The Uver art's so good.
Uvers,
Also,
yeah.
I like to believe that every time we're seeing this stupid restaurant, it's actually the same restaurant in the cards. Yeah, that is very cute and good art of Blacktailmon Uver.
As if we didn't have enough to assign it to be the Uber Eats.
And then Espimon getting some of his coolest art yet. This is like a rare time when Espimon actually looks cool.
Other than Ghost Game, he's fine.
Yeah. And then we get Hover Espimon looking completely unlike every art of Hover Espimon tries to make him look like a cool character, and this looks like someone shoved Espimon into a costume.
Yep.
And I'm like,
the same thing.
Like a bumper car. He looks like a bumper card at like a carnival.
Looking at this art is the first time I went, okay, this is a Hover Espimon I can imagine as the Espimon in the cartoon.
Yeah.
Because every art of Espimon we got, it has him like being this big like tank thing. It's like, I don't know if that matches the character I know, and now it's like this weird little, like Dev said, bumper car. It's like, okay.
Well, yeah, because whenever Espimon does evolve, assuming he does, it's theoretically permanent.
Yes.
So we're stuck with this thing for the rest of the show whenever it happens.
Yeah. And in fact, getting permanent evolutions like that is where you 100% see that Kakudo was correct in fighting to not do that as much as possible.
Oh, right.
Because, like, even when people go, oh, but Saber Leomon turns back into Leomon.
Yeah.
Once we get, ignoring that we didn't get much of Ryudomon, once Ryudomon evolves, at this point, all he can functionally do is the same stuff you would have Airdramon do. He's Airdramon too.
He's Uber.
He can't fit into houses anymore.
Yeah.
Let's see. Those are all.
That said, I do like that the permanent evolution is that the fact that they go back is a plot element in Ghost Game. I'd like them to talk about it. But
if they talked about it,
it's a nice distinction if they would address it.
And then we get Wezen Gamamon, and due to the lighting, he's less green than you would expect. And then next to him is Gilly Dumon.
I still think he's adorable.
Being very snipery.
And then we got...
Sorry, go ahead.
Tusken Raider.
Yes, exactly. And then And then we get Cow Scumamon going, I'm getting out of here. And then Fumamon not really looking like his art. You know what this, this makes me go, somebody had Ninja Gaiden art and quickly fixed it. This looks like it's a ninja from something ninja-y, and they just drew Fumamon over him so it would work. This is not the Fumamon that we have seen before in stuff.
Close enough.
Yes. Let's see, those are all reprints. And then we get a mess of new cards, starting with Gluscomon and Regulusmon. And oddly, I'm not as impressed with these as I should be, and here's why. Nothing's really happening in these. They're both like, they're standing there ready to attack, but they don't
Some
want to...
dusty random place.
Yes. And that can be fun if it's a character we've seen enough of. Because it's characters we haven't seen a lot of, it's like, oh, they're just not showing us anything. And here's the problem with that. Remember we got the battle art a few weeks ago? He was fighting Galus in it, and it was cool. And that's a better Galus-Gaomon image than this, because he's doing something.
Just posing dramatically in front of a sandstorm.
And his chat is kind of pointing out they have not actually dealt with the fake hero yet, and Espimon has kind of just ignored that. And then...
he forgot.
And then we get what is probably the ultimate quick run-through of one character that they've done. We get a new Tamer card for Ruli with really good anime style art. Like, this card looks great.
Yeah.
And then we get from Koki all of the Angoromon family. We start with
Angoromon.
Yeah, we start with Bosamon, who has Pionmon in it. So that card looks fun. Angoromon looks good. Simbare Angoromon I like, but this is where it's starting to get too puddingy. And then we get to Lamortmon, and I'm just like, I don't know if that's actually Lamortmon.
It's yellow blob.
It's Lamortmon.
It's Lamortmon who's kind of been degraded a bit, and his face is maybe a bit too flat. Because as I recall, he had a very...
looks like he's been chasing parked cars.
Yes. You have to go to the right. You have to go to the left. Sir, we'll have your keys for you in a minute. Please wait.
Somebody draw the little traffic wands into his claws.
No, they're in the next card.
Oh, there
for
they are.
Bitmon. DR Bitmon found the code. I will say this is actually a great one. Minus that, like, I would like to see the card be... He now has 2 cards which are not actiony. They're just poses.
And also, I just realized now he has little bunnies on the hilt of his sword.
Yes, I would
the
like...
The not action is actually... That seems consistent for him.
Yes, he doesn't do anything.
Yeah, he...
Poses dramatically and makes people feel uncomfortable.
We're going to
says puffy stuff.
We're going to be very cross with you, audience, if someone does not send us Lamortmon holding those fucking things for and then, so we also get, let's see, those are all reprints. Nice to see you again, Shademon. We won't see you again for a while. We get the clean packaging for RBO1, which we'd seen before, but not quite that nice, and the poster, which also had the Espimon card. And then, God bless English solicitation stuff, which shows early. Boosters at 13, we get our first look at art for Omegamon, Dukemon, and Magnamon. Along with
very royal name.
This is...
It actually looks really nice.
Okay. I was like, is this out yet?
No.
I could swear I saw this in a store last week.
One of the box, I think it was Booster Set 5, has Omegamon on the cover and isn't wildly...
No, it said Royal Knights on it.
This is definitely not out. This wouldn't even be...
Huh.
This is like July or August in the US. This wouldn't even be printed yet.
Oh, okay. That's weird.
Yeah.
The hell did I see?
Probably some accessory that said Royal Knight on it.
Yeah, I mean, it was next to another set. So.
In this one, they're like, it has all 13 Royal Knights, and they all get special parallel cards.
That's why I didn't buy it.
Yeah. And then box toppers will be Tamer cards. Interestingly, there'll be a second box topper, which features a new mechanic that won't be introduced until Starter Deck 15 and 16. So those will be the next starters introduced in Japan. So we'll see what those are probably very soon.
Woohoo.
And you can see Magnamon up in the top right corner of that art. Like, Dukemon's like, I don't know why I have to be here. I've already been on the cover of a set. Omegamon's standing there, and Magnamon's like, I have a movie to be in, go away. Fun Digica did a match with EXO4. Card Battle started off a new event, which is a New Year's battle. They showed off some prize cards. And then, as a special treat, loading up an image of, we got a costume in Card Battle. I look forward to you seeing this.
That's the only reason I'd ever click on a Card Battle post.
Yeah, you will enjoy.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and there's a story behind the costume. You remember how they did the Christmas event? I believe she was the team captain of the losers.
Okay.
But here's the best part. Here's the best part. The costume is designed by Chiba, who normally designs and wears the costumes. It's the New Year's Antilamon.
Oh my god.
Funny.
Yes. And then some products to pre-order. The Frontier pajama products are getting a general release, and those are for pre-order now, along with the Frontier jogger stuff. So the jogger stuff, I don't think any of us actually liked.
No.
It's just too bland.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about those anymore.
The Frontier stuff we all like, minus that because there's so little of it, everything's like doubled up.
Yeah.
Everything's like
this is the same exact shit.
Everything's like, this is just the face, and here's the pillow where you can see the Frontier character who should have a product. Those are all up to order. I don't think there's much to say about them outside of that, is there?
We kind of saw all the artwork already, and this is.
Although I will say, I 100% like the idea of having a Digimon hoodie. That doesn't quite work, and I'm pretty sure even if I ordered the largest one, it would not fit me.
Yep.
And then Digimon Journal. I really am enjoying this, but I really do hope that, like Profile, they will branch out.
Yeah.
I miss Agumon Hakase and his glorious bullshit.
Yes. So this time we get Omegamon Ultra S, Weregarurumon, and the Lilithmon. And
I'm very happy for Lilithmon.
I would say my issue is they really should plan these better, because, like, okay, it went up a couple days after Lilithmon was in Ghost Game. It does not mention Ghost Game as a main appearance. Now, that's not really a main appearance, but with only 4 bullet points, I think they can go ahead and add a 5th one.
Trying to remember where Ultra S featured in Rearise.
I'm pretty sure it's just that you can get him.
That's the case with all of them, though.
Yes, but they also want
need more bullet points.
As I recall, he was featured very heavily when they added him to it because he wasn't in any games with a CGI model. Prior to that, I think the only game he had been in was they put him in Heroes using his profile art. Yeah.
I miss Heroes so
and at some point, I have to go back to that page to see if they ever fixed the broken thing, which I'm going to do right now, because I want to know if they fixed it. Did they fix it? Did they? Ooh, they did.
A Christmas miracle.
Because they originally had Weregarurumon listed as one of his main appearances being the Digital Monster version 2. And they didn't, that he was not in that. I assumed that what they meant was version 20th. They just removed the line entirely. Because he is in the version 20th because you can get the Gabumon egg, the anime one. Yeah. And then
I feel like he's made a lot more appearances than those two, though.
He absolutely.
I guess
he absolutely has
way more stuff than that.
Look, Weregarurumon has only appeared in the Digimon Pendulum 3 and Digimon Adventure. Nothing else. You can't prove a thing. I don't have the time to check it. We have to just believe them.
I guess. I'm just like, if you're gonna put down Digimon Rearise for Ultra S and only give Weregarurumon 2 spots.
So here's the funny part. You could technically put everything Alter S's in under Wergurumon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I
could.
would have liked them to make a mention of like how, at least for earlier appearances, like, we can't decide if this fucker has a tail or not.
Yes. Well, no, they still switch, I believe. And I'm sure Dev, because every time she loves it more and more, getting to see the avatars that are super high resolution, which gives you an idea of just how good quality the art actually is.
They're holding out on us.
Yeah, like, especially some of the old ones like Wergurumon, it's like, wow, that really does look good.
I can see actual details on it.
And you can't have any of them, Dev.
Oh.
And then we get multiple Saturday batches. So first, the Toei Museum showed off stuff. They showed their beloved vending machine again, and also their Christmas tree, which had some Digimon decorations.
I'm very happy for them.
The best ones are the Tamer plushes hanging down below. And you can even see a Leomon up above a bit. It's a very...
Oh, I didn't see the Leomon. That's
yeah,
nice.
right below Leomon is Lopmon. And right to the right of Leomon, like right and down, someone from World Trigger.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Is that Zatch Bell?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's cool.
I believe there was a pop-up shop or something for an anniversary recently.
Wow.
Yeah.
Still hanging around.
Yeah. I just like, I keep trying to like look around to see if there's anything like I didn't see in it. Like I keep looking, I keep going, there's must be a Gabumon plush somewhere in here, and I just keep looking at all like the white fuzz. And it's like, nope, I guess not. They also put up some
Well,
more images.
obviously because Gamamon's being used for the New Year's one.
They also put up a bunch of Jump Fest images, but the most fun one was actually the last one. They put up Pulse Murata's deck for the Digimon card game. Pulse Murata does not work on the card game. He's the one who we always see for the Vital Bracelet, who is in charge of the development and always shows up in streams for it. His Digimon card game deck is Pulsemon themed.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, so they put up his deck along with the full card list, shows him holding it in a photo that goes, I do not photograph in these. You can see under the card list the little photograph of him, and he looks sad.
I would be too if that
yeah.
was my deck.
Dev being mean. And then we got to see, so they own, for some of the Frontier music stuff, they didn't show it in detail. They showed like, this is an example. The stands actually look really nice. Like, I'm shocked how nice these look. Like, I'm looking at like the zoom in, and like the art looks really good as stands, I have to say. I was not like 100% happy with like the shading, but in stand form it looks great. And Chalkmon's happy to be there. And then, Dev, are you alive?
That was my cat, actually.
Oh shit! It's the wrong cat.
I was not.
Yeah.
I wasn't mauled.
Yeah.
Just decided suddenly you had to make a break for it.
And then, they're going to be putting up some themed Ghost Game clips. The first one is 10 scenes that show off the cuteness of Gamamon, and they've geo-locked them.
You bastards!
This
no
is
cute Gamamon for you.
Yeah. And then, for some music fun, the Digimon music producer showed off the decorations on Tokyo Tower, showed off all the Digimon music products, which I love them all just like being stacked there. And then at Billy's year-end 2002 New Year's party, he was there performing Braveheart. The back wall behind him had a bunch of Digimon theming on a video wall, and it was just fun. Yeah, I was really happy with that. It was a good one. And then we have the packaging for the Angemon model kit. This packaging fucking kicks ass. It just looks amazing. They've really been knocking it out of the park with some of the recent packaging for these. I just really love that so much, and that's out in like a week.
Hell yes.
That is great.
I definitely know one of my friends is going to like at least get one or two just to at least steal the wings off of.
That is amazing quality art that sells the product, I think. Just looks great. Then for Dreamers, we get the monthly chapter preview. God bless Pulsemon with his weird thumbs up. That's Bulkmon's arm, I believe.
Yeah.
And then Tenyubuna Yubuna also put up art from Digimon Dreamers and Dr. Chiguru, his other manga, just thanking everyone for the support.
Aw.
Pulsemon's there exercising, and the other dude's smoking. And then to celebrate the new ED, Yabuno this is the art from the final shot of the ED, which he's reframed to be a nice image. I will say,
very pretty.
I was gonna say this. There has never been better art of Espimon than this exact shot. This Espimon art is so good that if you put a coat on him, he could be the second assistant to Agumon Hakase.
Oh my god.
Just,
Oh no.
No, can't you imagine this Espimon art with a lab coat?
I can, and I want him to get into a rivalry with Terriermon Shoshu.
And they just fight.
I want them to just argue all the time.
No, there's only one assistant coat. They're both the assistant, but they have to fight over who wears the coat and when.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is our get-along coat.
And then, for some fun, we get a few things from Kakuto. First, he showed off a photo that he commented on. There's basically the hospital that Mummymon actually is at, which is near a lake in UNO, and he posted a photo of it. And he also pointed out that the word they used to mean generally just means monument now, but used to just mean pyramid in Japan. And he's like, it's an Egyptian theme. Of course, Mummymon's going to show up. And then we get some good stuff. So first, he shows off a music book, a music sheet book for Butterfly from when Adventure first aired. He says he can't play any instrument, but he had to buy it.
Yeah.
He also mentions that he worked with Koizumi in the episode, and that's meant to be Noboru Koizumi. He's like, I've worked with him many times in the past. I find it hard to believe, based on these quality drawings of Dear Bitmon, that it's his first time working with Digimon. I checked on that, it turns out he has. He did a small bit during Crosswords, and he may have done some Appmon. That one's unclear based on what credits I could find, but very little. Kakuto also pointed out that January 8th could be written 8-1, and he insisted on doing that and making a special post for the day because of it.
Aww.
And then, this is one of the few... Because here's the thing, a lot of times companies don't comment on if a show's going to end, they just kind of announce the next show. And they haven't fully done that yet. They sort of have, but not solid enough where we are going to comment on it. Kakuto has commented that for Ghost Game, he's been involved since the opening and episode 7. This episode for the weekend, which he directed, is it for him, for Ghost Game.
Well, shit.
He said it's currently still going, so look forward to it. So Ghost Game, he's done with. So we can... Well, we've said multiple times when we think the show's going to end, and nothing I've seen changed that answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we also got the profile art of DR Bitmon and Ancient Sphinxmon. I like getting
a bunny and a kitty.
Hey, and one is a kitty with wings. That's important. I like looking at the different lion heads. You got the one with the ball, which reminds me of the Tiger Zord. There's the one above it. If you look at the one on the left, it looks like it's depressed to be there. It's like
gonna die.
If you look at the head on the left side, it's like, I had other plans. Why do I have to be here?
He's very ennui.
Yes, more so than Ruli. And then it's time for questions. You guys in chat, throw yours up. First one that was sent ahead of time. Someone said, what do we think can be done to improve Digimon Con now that it's not the first year? Under promise. Like here's the problem is they made it out to be like a huge deal last time. Nothing they did was actually wrong. It's just wrong in the sense of what they scheduled.
Yeah.
But if you're going to schedule like 40 minutes for games, you have to have something to talk about. It can't
don't lead off with the most disappointing part of the night.
Yeah. Like here's the thing. If let's say they aren't going to announce new game stuff. Only schedule 20 minutes for it. Talk about next order, show a Survive trailer, give us some tidbit of Survive stuff, and go like, we'll have something to show you in a few months. Wink, wink. Don't sit there and then do Q&A where you can't answer questions.
Yeah.
That was sad.
And it's like, it's very possible it's going to be kind of the same thing.
Yeah, but
this time.
you can frame
Just-
that. You can frame that a lot better. Is
Yeah.
the key thing.
Yeah, like just give us updates on where if you've made any progress with story or.
And especially since translation is an art, everyone who does not understand came away thinking, "Oh, Bandai claims they don't have money." That's not what they're saying. They're saying every idea that was pitched is not worth putting the money at.
Yeah.
Like
they're saying all these ideas aren't profitable.
Yes. They are not going to do a big budget remake of the WonderSwan games.
No. God no.
I'm shocked. And then, okay, I like the first one in chat. That's a great question. Allison wants to know, do you think when Thetismon evolves, Kiyoshiro is going to take off the bandages?
No.
No.
I think that if they come off, it's going to be in a different moment, and the payoff's going to be really stupid.
Well, here's the thing. Wasn't he missing the bandages a few episodes ago, and multiple people commented on that he just doesn't have them in that episode?
I don't remember.
I need to double check.
I think it came up once or twice, but I think it's just a running gag, and it's like it's going to find out that if he does take them off, it's going to find out that there's really
it needs to be
on.
it needs to be more. Well, we already know he's just a weeb, and since it's been asked in the chat, you can ask as many questions as you want. We may not answer them all. Oh,
especially because I'm tired.
And Ian notes that we've seen him take them off as before he goes to sleep.
Okay.
So
makes sense.
Yeah. Then someone wants to know, did we have a good New Year?
Yeah, it was all right.
I worked.
I went to Minnesota, hung out with the in-laws. Wasn't too bad.
I began to do work, then I stopped because that was Saturday and I was doing something. And then work, and after this is kind of when my schedule normalizes from the past few weeks, because I was out of town for a few days.
Everyone, I mean, a lot of people, their schedules just go to crap over this
like my schedule. This is the technically this is normal, but there was so much to go over. Who knew? Technically, waking up tomorrow, my schedule is normalized, and then I can enjoy's the wrong word, but like get back into like the vibe of doing stuff properly. But yeah, the actual New Year is fine. I flipped the CNN to see how their no alcohol was going. I will say this: they about 5 minutes before New Year's, they cut to like, oh, we're just going to show the natural ambiance of New York. And then I waited because I wanted to see what it would be like when they came back, and somebody had given something to Andy Cohen. I don't know if it was booze, but when he came back, he was much happier than when he left. He was very like quiet and toned down, and then it was like 15 or 20 minutes after New Year, and he was boisterous as like, I don't know if he's drunk, but he's definitely on something now.
Just because there's no alcohol doesn't mean there's no ecstasy.
Well, I believe he had mentioned that he may have had a slightly sweetened cookie or bakery good in his pocket, which he may have had at New Year's.
What do you define sweetened here?
I don't know exactly what, but not sugar.
Yeah.
I don't remember the phrasing he used. He was being very clear that it was drugs, but he was not saying what.
It was meth.
Yeah.
As far as I go, it was only the second time that I have spent New Year's playing a board game, which is a great way to start the year.
Okay. Then we get some turbo questions from Allison. What are our opinions on the Blast Mode Digimon? I have minimal opinion on because they were kind of just meant to be like one sprite armored up appearances rather than like anything. Like here's the thing: it's functionally okay. This is Andromon, and now Andromon has slightly upgraded armor for a minute in a VPET. I'm not negative on it, but until they do something with it, it's just a slightly different sprite. It's not something that I see as special or unique until it's used that way. So I'm excited at the idea that they could do something with it, but for now it's sort of like Dev mentioned with Where Grumon. Sometimes he has a tail, sometimes he doesn't.
Yep.
At the moment, that's all it is. It's just slightly more interesting because nothing's done with it, so people can imagine.
And like kind of like with the Ghost Game episode summaries, where it's like, oh wow, this looks cool, and
it's not the
then you
episode.
actually see the episode.
Yeah. Anything to add there, AR?
Mm-mm.
Okay, then who do we think will be the Ghost Game final boss? I mean, it kind of has to be evil Seriousmon, doesn't it?
I think it's got to be Regulus, yeah.
Well, no, Regulus is
I want it to be
the
Tampon
perfect, isn't
Uber.
it? Regulus is the perfect one. I forget
Or,
the name. I'm just calling him Evil
yeah.
Sirius. I forget his name.
That one. Yeah, that's right.
And then somehow they come together to make the bigger form to blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then the last of those turbos is the fact that Regulus will be added to the. I don't really worry about the reference book because it's basically just a marketing encyclopedia. I'm very happy when stuff's adding to it. I do not take it quite as seriously as a lot of people do.
It's like Pokédex entries.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, until it's in the anime, it doesn't exist in the I don't pay attention to anything outside the anime as far as thinking about when something's going to show up.
Yeah, especially since those profiles can either mean something or mean absolutely nothing. I love them adding entries though, but it was a relative. It feels like it was a light year for them last year, I believe. After 2021 was very heavy, as I recall. But we'll see. Someone wants to know, various kid horror stuff was brought up as an inspiration for Ghost Game. Are there any shows you can think of that would be a good fit as an inspiration for a style of a Digimon show? We've answered questions like this before.
I feel like we have. I forgot what I was always saying. I
think anytime someone's asked me a question like this, I'm not going to answer my normal answer of Symphogear. So my answer will be Metabots. Because it is effectively kid with a thing. They have parts that make it modularly, and there's lots of comedy, and it's fun to watch.
Oh, that's right. Last time I think I said Fist of the North Star, and just have the survival in the digital world.
Yeah.
That's what I said last time.
I don't remember what the question was. It was similar. It wasn't exactly the same, but it was kind of the same.
Yeah, it was something like, what kind of show would you like to see
like
Digimon
a genre.
do? Yeah.
Yeah. So, Dev, what say you?
I don't even remember what I answered last time.
Ninja Turtles it is, Dev.
Woohoo!
Just for a Digimon.
Actually, if you take the kids out, that actually would be kind of interesting. Just to have a bunch of Digimon living underground.
And trying to put weird shit on pizza.
And one kid shows up to be April, but yeah.
Well, it's a bit like Hello Kitty and Friends, but Digimon.
Okay, here's actually a good one from Ramon. When Espimon said, I want to evolve to, do we think that was a Digivolution tease or him being left out? The answer is simple. It's whatever the show ends up doing with it. If he evolves, it's a tease. If he doesn't, it's having fun at his expense. And it's having fun at his expense regardless.
What if he evolves and then gets punched in the face and then he de-evolves?
Then it's
that would be fantastic, just to see him get punched in the face.
See, here's the funny thing is as much as we mock Espimon, I would love nothing more than for Espimon. Because here's the thing. If you remember the first episode, he appeared, and we're all like, wow, he's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then they never did that again.
And then he showed up again.
Yeah, and then they never did cool stuff with Espimon ever again. But the first appearance, he was a really cool dude. And we're like, wow, there's plot. It's an interesting character. He had good animation. I wonder what they're going to do with it. And then the next episode is just like, nope.
And I will say this again. He is good in Dreamers. I like him in Dreamers. But, I mean, to answer your question, it could very well possibly be both, too.
Yeah. Okay, here's a good one, and I've not had the time to properly think about this. Is there a director's cut of a movie out there that you feel is not as good as the original version?
I thought about this for a long time before realizing I just generally don't like director's cuts in general. Like, make the movie you want to make.
Oh, you don't always get that choice.
Outside of studio meddling, which is obviously a thing, I just generally prefer the original movies, and director's cuts are just a couple scenes added.
There actually is a good example of I actually just thought of it. There's a good example because since it's been available in better quality, people actually have argued about it. If the director's cut of Muppet Christmas Carol is better than the original or not.
So
I
that's
have
one of the
not
ones where
seen that one.
that's one of the ones where I will chalk it up to studio meddling. Like
Yes.
that one, I give a pass to. See,
No. But I
I'm-
mean, even now that it's more easily available in good quality, you do have people comment that song, while it's very good, it's very important character-wise, it brings the movie to a screeching halt and isn't necessarily suggested earlier enough to maybe it worked better without it.
So
It is
find
studio
the
meddling,
scene-
though.
Yeah, for sure. So that one I kind of give a pass to. So my take on the scene is it is absolutely essential for his character development to understand that backstory, and given the source material, that comes in the right place and is introduced in almost the appropriate way.
Yes.
It's like that's important for that song.
Absolutely.
That song is important for that in that regard, and they do
Yes.
they do bring that song back at the end. So it's very essential to the story. That said, the song's not very good.
And it does bring the movie to a screeching halt.
It does. There's no Muppets.
Especially since that was the actual, like, when they talked about it, the director and the studio head, it was literally,
Yeah.
we're going to cut it out for theatrical. It will be there in home video. In theaters with little kids, all you're going to
Yeah.
get is little kids screaming about they don't understand what's happening. And that was
Also,
probably the right choice, to be honest.
Make Bella Muppet.
Look, I still like the idea of doing Knives Out and just have James Bond there and everyone else be Muppets.
Oh my god. That's
I
that's
would
where
love
you
that.
that's where you take, one of the female Muppets. I mean, Miss Piggy's already in it, so I guess use Janice or someone and make her the love interest and have her sing the song. That fixes a little bit.
It does, but also, like, I don't think you do that song with a female Muppet. I think you need it to be the actress there. It's because here's the problem: it's a very serious song, and I think if it's just a Muppet there trying to, like, emote with him, it just becomes funny, and that's not the point.
You need something for that, though.
Yeah.
For
No.
that song for a song that's sad. I especially have strong feelings about that because Star Kid released their Christmas Carol musical. They did like an 80s. They did all of Christmas Carol with 80s style music, and the song for that scene is so good. It's like, oh, that's what we're missing. in Muppets.
Last call for questions in the chat. But yeah, the problem is there's so many movies that had random director's cuts when in the age of the high age of DVDs,
yeah.
that it becomes hard to think about, because there's plenty of them where it was literally the director's cut is the exact movie the director wanted to make, but they added in some floor elements that had cursing and shit so they could say it was unrated, and they call that a director's cut even though he wasn't involved.
Pretty much.
I mean, probably the one that I hate the most is the additional song, The Morning Report, put into The Lion King. I fucking hate that song.
Yeah,
and just
that song.
Was that-
I mean,
breaks the flow.
I've seen it. I haven't seen that version of it,
Was
but
that
I've
actually-
seen it on. I've seen the song on that song's on in the Broadway play, and it's pretty forgettable.
Yeah, I was under the impression that for the movie that was only available as a deleted scene, not in the movie. Is there an actual cut?
For the DVD version
they actually
that
did insert
came
that?
out, yep, they put it in, and the point where like Mufasa is teaching Simba to pounce Zazu, that's taken out. It basically turns into a song.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
have that DVD and I'd never checked that. I was not even aware you could see that as part of. Okay, that makes sense.
That was unfortunately the only choice on
that song.
DVD.
That song, the only place for that song is on Broadway. It's fine in Broadway.
Okay, that makes sense. And then the last question. So I want to know, what do you expect for Digimon this year? Let's survive. First, we need to survive Next Order coming out a third time.
Yeah.
Although here's the thing, and we've said it.
Gonna be.
Here's the thing.
God, that's gonna get a lot of undue promotion at Digimon Con, isn't it?
Yep. Here's the thing, though, and we've said this before. There's enough quality of life changes. It may actually be a decent game now.
Oh, it might be, but it's not as new as they want to hype it up to be.
To be fair, so few people bought it that they can treat it as new.
They can, but it's not.
It
Like,
also
we know the
it also
truth here.
helps that it's not like it's not getting a PS4 re-release. It's not on Xbox. They're basically going it's Switch, cough, cough, and PC. So as a Switch game, we'll see how it runs. It may work. Here's the thing. I think with the quality of life changes, you may actually have a decent game there. It's still going to be a painful slog, but it may now be decent-ish.
It's a painful slog the way Cyber Sleuth is a painful slog, which is kind of enjoyable.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm
Yeah, I mean, it's like I don't fault them for re-releasing the game. It's like I'll buy it at some point now that it's on PC.
Here's the thing.
But
very soon Sorry, you go ahead.
But my point is, it's like the fact that that's going to draw a lot of the oxygen from the game segment of Digimon Con is a little concerning.
Well, to be fair, think about the way people are acting every time we get news about it. It's being treated like new news.
Yeah, but just the fact that they're not really, it's going to take away from
here's
a
the
lot
thing.
of what they could
No,
be
see, that's the thing.
announcing for
anything
updates.
they could announce at Digimon Con, they would. If they don't announce anything, it's not going to have anything to do with Next Order one way or the other.
That's why Next Order feels like a bit of a cover.
Yeah, I think it's that they want another game to release. And here's the thing. There's plenty of other times they're going to do this. Soon they're going to have to do some of the stupid ideas we've jokingly suggested over the years.
Yeah. It's like this Next Order sort of realizes like they might not have a lot to say at Digimon Con regarding the game segment, and a lot that they did last year.
That'd be better than last time.
Here's the thing.
I'm not convinced it will be.
They need to, if they frame it better than last time, you can do exactly the same thing and have it be good. But the main crux is you cannot have half an hour of Q&A and not answer any real questions.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Soon they're going to have to be like, what else can we do? We'll have to port Digimon Adventure to the Switch.
Yeah, why the fuck not?
Because
then you'd need to do an English version.
To be fair,
make that a big deal.
To be fair, doing the subpar English versions has never stopped Bandai before.
No, I suppose.
Yeah. See, and here's the thing. There's a very, very little chance that what people want, a number of people want it to be decoded, and that won't happen for a key reason.
No, it's not happening.
Because they changed the way stuff works. It's not going to work great on a single screen. So here's what's going to happen. If they were to ever do it, there's three options. They very basic port the PSP game and just do a little mini movie of the 3DS stuff. They port the PSP game, but try to clamp on what the 3DS content as they can. Or the option that will just piss people off, because I've seen it happen. They have the main screen be a big screen emulating the 3DS version and have the little screen in the corner.
Oh.
Now, some games do that. Here's the thing. I think for the DS Mega Man Battle Network games, I think that will work.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They tried doing that with Wonderful 101, and it doesn't fucking work at all. That was a game that actually needed both screens for a game from the Wii U.
Mm-hmm.
And that game was not fun to play. I played it for 10 or 15 minutes and went, I'm not dealing with this shit. So we will see. But yeah.
That's an interesting thought piece for someone to put on a video game site, is the difficulty of porting DS games. Or remaking or reporting DS games because of their screen system.
A lot of them just do go with, okay, you just have the screen there, or you just have a big screen on the left side and a tiny screen on the right side. And that's just how you deal with it.
Yeah, it's awkward either way.
Yeah. AR, what have you been up to, and do you have anything coming up?
I've been up to my original novel stuff, so I haven't been doing a whole lot of Digimon stuff. But I am on Tumblr at firstagent.tumblr.com. I'm going to start to put some more original progress and stuff with that, just to keep it freshened up a little bit.
Okay. Dev, what Wikimon article do you like people to read?
Shinmonzemon.
That is a good choice.
A good choice, yeah.
Good choice for the new year.
Have you murdered Dev? Who are you?
Meow.
It's the cat. It's ancient Sphinxmon.
It's a plot twist. It's my cat that ran off a while ago.
Yeah, I literally just heard that noise and I'm like, oh no, Dev, are you okay?
It's like it wasn't me.
Dashed off so fast it got to Philly.
Yeah. And I am with the will as always. And we did not do it this time because I knew the episode was going to run long. Within the next week or two, they will be forced to watch Mystery Box stuff. I did not bring it up this time because I knew with 2 weeks of news we would not have the time.
You tried to get us to do an episode last week and we said no.
To be fair, Dev said yes. I decided I decided
Dev, crossing picket lines. What's going on here?
I decided
I said I did not give a fuck either way.
Dev, you say that a lot, and that normally means sure. In fact, your original response to being on the podcast was, well, I don't give a fuck. And then you have not left in a few years.
Wow, it was a scab.
In fact, at least once, Dev, you've told me you don't plan to ever leave.
No, I don't. I'm just doing
don't
it.
say that. Don't ever say that.
At least once, Dev told me this is her version of socializing.
I mean,
yes, because like it's the only time I talk with people that are not my coworkers.
Mine too. It doesn't mean I'm gonna be here forever.
Oh, I already know which of you is gonna leave first. I have no doubt.
Yeah.
I've already been in this hyperfixation since it started. So
yes.
Yeah.
Dev,
I mean, I've had dips. I've dipped, I suppose. I was out for a little while.
The only way
I had the autistic superpower to like hyperfixate on something absolutely forever.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
I did drop out after a little, but I've been in here since 2000. So,
although I will say this, I do expect AR to be more excited once Ghost Game ends and we think up topics.
Once we think of topics, it might be fun. Yeah,
because that's the funny part. Is it's like,
and honestly, I don't mind talking Ghost Game as much.
No, neither do I. But what I mean is like right before we got the news of Adventure 2020, and we've talked about this before, where like you were like, we need to think of like topics to do and stuff like that, and you were getting really excited about the possibility of it, and then they announced, and we've had the non-stop thing to talk about for years, for at this point 3 years,
and they both have been not great.
At this point, Ghost Game really needs
to for my wallet.
At this point, Ghost Game really needs to do something wild to turn it around and not be underneath.
It's hard for me to disagree, but I am in I think, and like critically, I think it's worse, but I'm enjoying it more than the review.
I can understand that. The weird thing is have you seen like how few people actually review Ghost Game and stuff at this point?
Yeah, I've noticed, because I think I get more attention on my stuff than I did for the reboot.
It borderline does not exist as far as reviews and stuff goes. It just vanished.
I still see fan art, though, and that's good.
Yes, there's been some decent fan art, definitely. Yes. Yeah, so we will catch you guys next time. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.